everybody to baking soda chemistry. My name's Miss Annette, and I used to think that I didn't like chemistry, but it is probably one of the coolest subjects that you can study because, how else can you make things explode and bubble and do all sorts of stuff? So I thought I would share a few experiments with you so that you can see indeed how cool it is. Now, you probably may have heard of baking soda. Some of you may have it in your refrigerator. You've got a little box. Now, this is an industrial strength, really big one, but you may have a small one, and your parents may put it in the refrigerator and it absorbs odors so you don't have stinky food and stinky refrigerator. But another thing you may not know, how many people like chocolate chip cookies? I do. Did you know that baking soda, or the more technical term is bicarbonate of soda, you put that in your chocolate chip cookies. And what it does, it makes them go from flat and raises them a little bit. It's called a raising agent or leavening agent. And what happens is that there's a chemical reaction with some of the ingredients that actually releases what's called carbon. It's carbon dioxide, a gas, and it causes food to rise a little bit. And we'll see what happens when that gas is released through a chemical reaction. Now, just a little side note, we breathe in, do you know what our predominant gas that we breathe in that our body loves? It's called oxygen. But guess what comes out? Carbon dioxide, just what comes out of the chemical reaction with our baking soda. And you know who loves carbon dioxide? Trees, plants. So it is a great gas to have around because they convert the carbon dioxide into oxygen for us to breathe. Now that's a little freebie with our baking soda chemistry. So first of all, I would like to show you how to make something that demonstrates that chemical reaction. And they're called dissolving rocks. Now, have you ever put a rock in the water? You look at the streams and there's rocks in there. Do they dissolve? Do they go away? No, but this is a really cool experiment. And let me show you one that I have. Now, we make them and they sit overnight. But one of the cool things is you can put a surprise in here. Give it to a friend, have them put it in something, and voila, the surprise will come. But let me show you how to do it. So I have here, we have a cup measure of baking soda, and I have a 1/4 cup of water. And I'm going to mix these together. So let's have a close-up of this shot so you can see how this is done. Okay, now we've got our 1/4 cup of water and we're gonna pour it into our baking soda. And in a sense, it kind of makes like a paste or a dough. And to make it more interesting, I've got some food coloring. So I'm gonna go with blue because that's what I did before. And you just put until you get the color that you want. And you mix it up into a paste. Now this takes a little bit of time, because we only have so much time, I'm going to show you what I've already done. And here, I already mixed some up. Now, it's kind of a dough, maybe not quite like Play-Doh, but it's moldable. Now, you see got a little bit here? You put your little penny or anything else you want to hide in there. If you've got a little plastic animal or an engagement ring, that kind of thing, then you make a little rock with it. And there you go. Well, this needs to sit overnight. All right, so we have the dissolving rock that we made, but the problem is it needs to sit overnight. So I have one that I made ahead of time. And so I have a mixture. You can put just all vinegar. As you'll see, this is our white vinegar. It doesn't make any difference. White vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I add a little bit of water. You don't have to. I just made it go farther. But here we are. What do you think is going to happen? Let's drop it in and see. If I had a different container, it might have been a little bit more impressive. But look at it. Look at all the gas being released. It's a, ooh. You hear that sound? It's fizzing up. The baking soda, which is an alkali, is reacting with the vinegar, which is an acid. And it's releasing the gas. It makes the carbon dioxide. Now it's slowing down. I can I'll show you what it looks like right now. See, it's gotten a little bit smaller, but that was kind of a bigger rock that I made. You can make it any size. It just takes a little bit longer when you've got a bigger rock. But it'll continue to react and react and react as it dissolves. I'm going to kind of help it and squish it just a little bit. And then it fizzed up even more. Oh, isn't that cool? Sort of like pouring out some soda pop. You know how it fizzes up when you pour it in the glass? That's exactly, it's releasing the carbon dioxide. And here we go. Look what I had in the middle of my rock. It's a very dull penny. But you can put all sorts of things. If you want to surprise a friend with a little gift or a sibling, something like that, then hide it in your dissolving rock. Wasn't that cool? I loved hearing the fizz, fizz, fizz of the reaction. Well, we're going to show you a few more experiments that you can do with baking soda. And my friend Miss Tina is going to take you to her kitchen to show you another one. See you then.
Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Miss Tina, and we're going to use the scientific method to complete a science experiment with things that we can find in our home. So my question to you is, what is the scientific method? Did you know that there are 6 steps to the scientific method? And I'm going to share this with you right now. Step number 1, ask a question. The scientific method begins with asking a question about something that has to be observed. And the questions that you ask are who, what, where, when, and why. Step 2 is you need to do some research. You need to read about the topic that you're going to investigate so you have some background knowledge before you begin. Step 3, you have to have a hypothesis. And what is a hypothesis? It is an educated guess about what you think is going to happen. And we are going to see if your hypothesis will be true in the end, or is it false? Step 4 is the test with experiment. And we will do the experiment. We will see what happens. Step 5 is you're going to record what you see, hear, taste, smell, or feel during your science experiment. Then in step 6, you're going to take all that information, put it together with a conclusion saying, was my hypothesis true or was my hypothesis false? Now these are the steps for the scientific method that we are going to use for our science experiment that's coming up next. Now we're going to begin our scientific method process. We have a research question. What do you know about lemons? This is a lemon. It's yellow. You can smell the fragrance from it. It has a thick skin. It also has a high content of citric acid. It has a sour taste. You can take this and make lemonade and add sugar, and it makes a healthy vitamin C rich drink. Did you know that they take lemon juice and add it to essential oils, shampoo, and soap for pleasant scents? That's what we know about a lemon. So now we have to create a hypothesis. And this is my hypothesis. If you combine lemon juice and baking soda. Will the citric acid in the lemon juice cause bubbles like the lava in a volcano? So do you think the lemon juice and the baking soda will cause bubbles? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Before we begin, we have to get all our materials. We have our dish, a spoon, a knife, a teaspoon, baking soda, and lemon juice. And then we'll begin our experiment. Now we are going to begin our science experiment. As we put all these things together, I want you to be observing what is happening, when is it happening, why is it happening, how is it happening, because we're going to use those questions to draw our conclusion at the end of our experiment. So, the first thing you need to do is you need to roll the lemon across the table like this. Then you're going to have your grown-up friend take the knife and just cut this little piece off right here. Just a sliver. And you don't want to punch a hole in the lemon. And then that will help it stand up better, because that's what we want it to do, to stand. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the top and you're going to remove the top like this. You're going to take this spoon and you're going to poke it several times, because you want to see the juice that's in there, because that's going to hopefully make our bubbles, if our hypothesis is correct. All right. I'm going to push down on it like that. And then I am going to add a little bit of soap. Just a little bit right there, like that. And then I'm going to add baking soda. And now we're going to see what happens. Are you ready? So we'll see what happens. Oh, it worked. There it goes. Bubble, bubble, bubble. So it is bubbling over. And if it slows down, you can take a little bit more lemon juice. Keep it going. So what observations do you see? It's bubbling. It's foaming off to the side. Now that the experiment is done, could you tell me what you observed? We observed bubbling. The baking soda and the lemon juice combined, and it created bubbles very similar to the lava from a volcano. Also, in my kitchen, I have the pleasure of having the fragrance of lemon on my hands, which when you do it at your home, you'll be able to have that beautiful fragrance as well. Now, the conclusion, what did we learn from this? First of all, we have to go back to our hypothesis. And the hypothesis is, if you combine lemon juice with baking soda, will it cause bubbles similar to lava in a volcano? And we can say, true, it did happen.
Hey, wasn't that lemon volcano cool? Okay, so we're gonna see, you had that chemical reaction and it was released into the air. We're gonna see what happens when that chemical reaction, that gas is contained in the force that it's got. So we're gonna make a baking soda bottle rocket. How cool is that? So we have our bottle. It can be any size, really. And I use chopsticks. You can use pencils, whatever, but we create a stand. As you see, it's gonna sit here, and you have a gap 1 to 2 inches here, so you have enough so that it'll get a little bit of lift off there. And so I have taped with packing tape. No, I wouldn't recommend Scotch tape, packing tape or duct tape, my little stand leg, my little legs there in kind of an even, equal distance from each other. And then I also have a cork. You don't want the lid to the bottle because it won't give. But I have my cork and I've put a little bit of duct tape around it so it fits very snugly. As you can see, it doesn't go all the way down, but it'll fit snug enough because when you turn it over, you're gonna have liquid in here, and so it doesn't slip out. So are you ready to build it? Let's go. Okay, now we're ready to fill our bottle. So I happen to have a funnel. If you don't, that's okay. Just pour your liquid over a sink or something that will contain it. And again, I've got my vinegar. So I'm gonna pour this in, and you use about 2 or 3 cups to give it the maximum. So I'm kind of eyeballing it at this point because I'm that good. But that's probably, whoops, that's not paying attention. She's looking at the level, but that's okay. All right, now we've got our vinegar in here, but we do not want to mix the baking soda in because it's gonna have a chemical reaction that way. So I've got my baking soda, and I've also got a paper towel. And so in your paper towel, you put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of baking soda. And you'll notice that I've got a nice little line. You know why? Because we have to roll it up. And we want it small enough so that it'll fit in through the bottle. So it can't be too thick so that it'll fit through here. And I recommend having a piece of tape to tape the bottom so you can go in with, it'll be easier to stick it in. But I think we're ready to go. We're not gonna do it until we're outside and ready to go because you have to move fast with this. So let's go outside. All right, here we are outside. I added a little bit of food coloring so you can see it, maybe make it a little bit more dramatic. But we're going to quickly, here's our baking soda in the paper towel, and I'm going to quickly drop it, cork it, turn it, and run. And it's taking a little bit of time, but look at it bubble. And look at it bubble. And it's not doing anything, Sarah. Okay. Come on. Okay. Cork and turn and it doesn't want to. And let's run. So are you ready?
Yep, go for it.
All right, we're outside. We're ready to get this baby airborne. So I've got my little tube of baking soda, and I'm gonna do it get the cork in as quickly as possible and run. Now, actually, sometimes it takes just a little bit more time. Let's see, come on, baby. You can see it bubbling, and I may have wrapped the paper towel up a little bit too much. But let's see, it'll go up. That one didn't go up as much.
That one didn't go up nearly as much.
No. Whoa, wasn't that the coolest thing? Now, didn't I tell you that chemistry was cool, especially baking soda chemistry? Well, thanks for joining us today. Hope you had fun. I sure did. See you next time.